John, I've got to ask you, are Fraggle Muppets different than other Muppets?
Ooh. Um, as characters, they are in the same world as far as they're so layered and they're so beautifully conceived, like all of Jim Henson's creations are. Puppet wise, they're actually in mostly very simple puppets. You know what I mean? They don't have a whole lot. The Fraggles, they don't have a whole lot of extra things. Moki has an eye blink and Wembley has eyes that can roll, but that's it. Otherwise than that, they're pretty standard hand puppets. So I think their simplicity and our ability to perform them lets them be more detailed, if that makes any sense.
Sure, sure. Is there a book? Is there like a guidebook when you deal with these things? Because it's been a while.
You know what? Yes and no. I mean, I think that there's when we first relaunched the show, luckily most of the people who worked on the original are still with us, and they were so excited to come together with the new team to say, hey, take this and run. And it was exciting to hear Halle actually organized this amazing thing called the Fraggle Gaggle that was basically a gathering of new and original team and advisors and child psychologists and climate experts and you name it. And to kind of talk about all the places that the original series didn't get a chance to go that they would have wanted to, and to kind of take that and carry it on. So it wasn't like starting from scratch because the original series has such a foundation, but it was a little bit like we're gonna find this out ourselves, like how to make Fraggle Rock, and so far we've been very lucky.
We have such an amazing creature shop. I just wanted to point this out that like they had puppets from the original series.
Oh,
And
wow.
yes, it was absolutely extraordinary. So we could learn. You said, is there a book? I thought, no, but there's a pattern.
Yeah,
there are
that's right.
patterns to be used. And also, like the doozers themselves, the present day modern builders of the doozers, they just like performed surgery on some of these older doozers just to like see how the mechanics are made. And they actually took some of the learnings from the past to bring back to these doozers today. So
It
I
was
just
really
thought that was
fun.
fascinating.
Yeah.
It looks like though you have a huge cast, especially in some of the scenes. Is that I would assume that that's a difference. And what's the most you've had on a set?
Good
We
question.
have, I think our highest total ever puppeteers was 25 at a time. And I could be wrong, but I think the original series, they never had more than 16 or 17 people, I think. And, we had 25 puppeteers. And what was amazing is on a set as big as the Fraggle Rock set is, that sounds like a lot, but it's amazing how fast 25 people go. And part of my job was to stage the scenes with the puppets, and I'd be like, okay, we have to have more people, right? They're like, nope, you've used them all. So, we could fill
Two
that.
hands.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone used their feet too. But we had a giant cast, a lot of friends from Calgary. We hired a lot of local puppeteers, and that was one of my favorite parts was meeting all these new talented people.
So then when does the script and the song, when do we do that? Is one thing driving the other, or?
Yeah, we in the writers' room, myself and Alex Cuthbertson and Johnny, we had 20 weeks in the writers' room. A lot of it before production started, where we would, map out where we wanted the season to go, over arc, and then just a lot of different issues that we wanted to tackle, and we would write these scripts and start picking out places that songs would go. We'd always have one legacy song from the original that Johnny would recommend because he's the ultimate Fraggle fan, and Harvey Mason Jr., our music producer, would reimagine that and also work on a new song. So a lot of the stuff would be in motion by the time we got up to Canada and were shooting it.
Yeah, and there were nine writers in the room, and it was great because we all came from different backgrounds, so it was kind of like everyone contributed. It was like a bunch of Fraggles writing the show.
So John, as a big fan, then does that make you want to do certain things because you say, "Oh, I remember this, and I must bring that back"?
Yeah, I mean there were definitely certain things that it was like the must-haves in the show. Like when we were first reconceiving it, like you've got to have these 5 Fraggles, you've got to have the Doozers, you got to have the Gorgs, you got to have these storylines, But then it was kind of fun, once we had a rhythm. occasionally of saying, oh, there were these really cool creatures that never got explored called the Ditsies, like who are the sources of light for Fraggle Rock. And then that evolved into these new characters called the Flutterflies in the first season. Or there'd be a great background puppet. And, we were looking for a character name for Bongo, which is this hilarious character. And we took this background puppet who's kind of weird looking. And we're like, that's Bongo. And then we could write for that. And so it was fun to think of like, little one-shot characters from the original series that we could now write as main characters, or
But admit it, Johnny. Sometimes we
Yeah.
had to convince. Yeah, we're like,
Which,
come on,
by the
Johnny,
way-
we had to convince you sometimes. To,
Oh,
like,
sure.
We're like, let's go do a K-pop video.
Oh,
And
yeah,
Johnny's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
K-pop with
Yeah.
Fraggles?
But then it works
Aren't you
brilliantly.
happy we did it?
Yes, it works
Okay.
But having an expert on the show in the writers' room, it's annoying occasionally. No, it's the best. It's like it's truly like the greatest
Love it.
because it keeps us looking good and honest and knowing. I mean, we couldn't do it without it.
Well,
honestly.
the lore has always been, as if.
They're pulling me away
Oh,
from
no.
you. What is this?
Ah,
Thank you guys so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
likewise.
We appreciate you.